We are live on Twitter, Periscope, and in a matter of seconds, we will be live on YouTube as well. Sup, Snapjack? Let me get this going over here. Yo, Crispy Kramer, how's it going? There we go. Seen some tweets too. Be positive. Hey, what's up? Again, if you want to fast forward to 90 seconds. Oh man, I'm getting tweets about Arizona State. I'm a son over here. I'm loving ASU basketball 6-0 right now, and I just saw some tweets. Favorite part of Monday, man, dude. This is my favorite part of the week. I love having this conversation with you guys. Why can I not see this? Am I streaming on YouTube? I just want to double check. We're going to start in about 30 seconds, and I appreciate y'all jumping on immediately. Okay, here we go. I think I was just on the wrong little thing. Let's see if this is going. I've got it right here. Yeah. All right. So it looks like we are live on YouTube now. What's up, Polar Bear? Just double checking. Yes, we are live. Okay, so I am live on everything. What is up, man? How's it going? We're going to start here in a few seconds. Just get a couple more going. Go ahead and please like, please retweet, please share, text your friends real quick. Yo, join us on Fellow This is Live. Let's have some conversation. I tweeted what we're going to be talking about a few minutes ago. We're talking centers, we're talking point guards, we're talking the Marquise Chris problem. We're talking about the, what did I say? Oh, Dragon Bender. I screwed up your heading. Uh-oh. How did I screw up? What did I screw up? Do I have to restart that? What's my heading? I can't see it now. It's gone. Should have said how young. Oh, how you gonna go? And so it begins. All right, welcome to Valley of the Suns Live, the weekly edition. It is November 27th. I am 5 days older and 5 pounds heavier following Thanksgiving. I had such a great Thanksgiving, you guys. I missed you, though. I did. I missed you. And I tweeted a few of you. Polar Bear and I think we even tweeted a little bit on Thanksgiving, if I recall. I might be wrong, but somewhere around there. So, yeah, welcome. We are live now on YouTube. We are live on Periscope. We're live on Twitter. Please like, please heart, please share, please tweet, please text, please do everything humanly possible to spread the word. So I want to start out with the center problem, because we actually just saw within the last 2 hours that Jared Dudley, thanks, Be Positive. Sup, QK Lore? Nice to see you. We saw within the last couple of hours that Devin Booker actually tweeted something to the effect of, I forget the hashtag is. I think it's FreeJa, which I recall is the hashtag that his dad started, or at least that his dad was wearing on a t-shirt. And we're talking Jahlil Okafor of the Philadelphia 76ers, a guy who I've been wanting for, oh, well, hell, I wanted the Suns to somehow manage to draft him. That would have been fantastic. But I've definitely wanted him since he's entered the league, and was really pushing to get him last year. I was pushing for an Alex Len, kind of swap. I would still take that now, just to at least kind of give Jahlil Okafor a taste of Phoenix, if you will, just to see if maybe he would like to stay here. I mean, of course, as an unrestricted free agent, he doesn't have to be with the Suns right now. The Suns can reach out to him and offer him the most money. Sorry about this. Offer him the most money over the summer. And then certainly if the Suns do trade for him, he went to Duke. Correct? Where's Kentucky? Duke. No, he went to Duke. I'm almost 100% positive. Somebody just look for college. It was Duke. He totally went to Duke. I'm positive he went to Duke. He went to Duke. Yes, I'm saying Duke. I'm assuming it's Duke. I'm 100% positive. So anyway, okay, I was just to be sure. So obviously he was, not a Kentucky guy, so it's not necessarily a Devin Booker guy per se. There's the Bagley Okafor connection. That would be interesting for sure. You get that power forward and that center combo. That would be kind of cool. Not that they played together, because they obviously didn't. Nobody plays for more than a year in college anymore. But so Devin Booker said hashtag FreeJa, and okay, so he's now on the. I don't know if that was necessarily a hey, come to Phoenix, although I bet that's something that won't, he won't get fined for tampering for a tweet like that. So I mean, it definitely could play a role. That could have been his way of saying, no, hey man, I want you to come here. If they buy you out, choose Phoenix, come play with us. you know, the kind of the argument against Okafor at this moment is twofold. First off, why give up anything for a guy that's going to be an unrestricted free agent following the season? So there's no guarantee of the return. So you give up. The Suns are not, you know, shopping for rental players at any position. You know, so it just makes no sense to give up anything. Now, if they, truthfully, and you know, kind of in the way that they got Troy Daniels, if they traded you know, a second round pick that, well, I forget exactly what that was, but you know, that was top 50 protected or 55 protected or whatever it was. And then it's like, okay, you know, so now we, like, the Suns would have to win a title or get to the conference finals at least for that. No, we're not going to fire Fizdale. Well, oh, I actually totally spaced. We're going to add him to the list. We're going to add him to the list. Don't worry about that. So, you know, it's not like they, you know, couldn't do something like that, where unless the Suns somehow manage to make the conference finals, that second round pick will never be, you know, converted. I just don't think the Philadelphia would accept that. I think they would almost rather the buyout, I suppose. I don't know. I guess they wouldn't mind taking a risk on a second round pick, I guess. But regardless, I just, if I'm the Suns, I don't give them a penny for him. I mean, I suppose I'd maybe offer a second round pick. It just couldn't be one of our own. It'd have to be one of, let's say, Toronto's. I would give up Toronto's second round pick. Then the other issue, see, I said I had 2 points. Oh, the other point is that, you know, we already have like 4 centers. Yeah, it's messed up. You know, it's a lot like what the Suns did to Markieff Morris, I suppose. I mean, it was just, you know, hey, sit there. You know, we're not going to just cut you, because remember, he wanted to be cut. Suns were like, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to work out a trade, and took to the deadline. So, you know, but the other thing is Suns have like 4 centers, and I'm being a little facetious. We definitely have 3 on the active roster right now with Tyson Chandler and Alex Len, who right now isn't really playing. That's part of the center problem that we've got, and I want to talk about that next. But then we also now have Greg Monroe. And Greg Monroe, too, is an unrestricted free agent after the season, and he's been playing just fine. I mean, it's like right now, if you had your druthers, Greg Monroe or, you know, the unknown in Jahlil Okafor, I think a lot of people, myself included, would still want to, you know, kind of lean towards Jahlil Okafor because of his age, because of his offensive upside. But, you know, they're almost the same player. Jahlil's just a little bit younger, and honestly, big deal. You know, to me, that's just not a big deal. I mean, Greg Monroe is going to be fine for another 8 years, so it's, you know, great. So Jahlil's 3 years younger. He'll be gone in 3 years anyway. Yeah, well, it's touche. I mean, yeah, he's having his best career numbers. That's my point, though. And so you have Tyson Chandler still on the books, and there's not a chance in hell that Philadelphia flips Jahlil Okafor for a massive contract. It's not massive, but it's too big. It's unnecessary for them. You have Alex Len, who's an unrestricted free agent. If for whatever reason Philadelphia wanted to flip that, okay, you know, but probably Monroe is going to command $12 million in the offseason for due to disability. Well, I think if Okafor comes in and starts to impress, he could demand that as well, and he doesn't play defense either. Don't forget, he had that little incident in well, that was the trade actually I really wanted the Suns to go after last year, was Brandon Knight, and a lot of people thought that was actually an option too. Whether it was ever discussed or not, I don't know, but I know that a lot of people are saying Brandon Knight for you know, for Jahlil Okafor. But he's to come to the Suns or Bulls, they'll give him a chance. Well, and you know, honestly, I kind of wonder if the Bulls actually would want to trade for him, because he might make them a little bit better. And right now, the Bulls are setting up to have a really good shot at the number 1 overall pick. You know, and so if Jahlil Okafor comes in and they win an extra 5 games, which a guy like that potentially could do, that might drop them to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or raise them to 3rd, 4th, 5th, I suppose, whatever. And, oh, I just got an alert. The ISS is flying over right now. Just in case you want to run outside and discuss Valley of the Suns while watching the, you know, the ISS. But anyway, so I really don't know if Chicago would really want him, just because I don't know if they want to. I don't know if they really want to improve. So real quick, we've got a bunch of people on. Please heart, please like, please retweet, please share. Tell all your friends real quick. Just text them right now and just be like, you know, hey, come on, join us for ValleyofTheSuns.com. At the moment, we're talking the Suns center issue and Jahlil Okafor in particular. We're going to talk Fizdale. We're going to talk Marquise Chriss. We're going to talk Dragan Bender. We're going to talk the point guard situation. We've got so much to talk about. So anyway, I mean, those are kind of my thoughts. Do you guys, how many of you, you know, that are watching right now are, you know, really want the Suns to go after Jahlil Okafor at all costs? I mean, he would be the 4th center. And that's the other thing. So I was speaking a little facetiously a moment ago when I said the Suns have 4 centers. They kind of do, because they still have Alan Williams. And Alan Williams and I would give up the fifth finger for Okafor. And Alan Williams is supposed to come back at some point this season. So, yeah, so the question is, who do you move and how do you move them? And do you just at that point just dump? We're so close, man. We're so close. Yeah, he would be the fifth center. You don't need that many centers. We're already starting two, and it's like an odd Twin Towers kind of scenario. This is no Tim Duncan, David Robinson. This is Tyson Chandler, who doesn't score, and Greg Monroe, who doesn't play defense. You know, you have to move two centers. You know, and Alan Williams cannot be moved. I suppose he can, but they're not. You know, so can you move Tyson Chandler without giving anything else up with him? I mean, I wouldn't want to even try to second-round pick. I'm fine with him finishing out his career here. Well, what was a matchup start? Oh, that was a matchup. Well, but was it yesterday? You know, they started both of them yesterday as well. That wasn't necessarily a matchup start. Can move Dudley and Chandler already. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think if they could, they would have. You know, so then you could. I mean, you can't buy out Len, I don't think, because the qualifying offer. I mean, so that they're really. What's the word? Lock. What's the word? They've got a. Oh, wait. Is that okay? We can talk about that later. Tweet me that. But you know, they have a logjam, not lock. That was the word. They already have a logjam, because now here's the other thing. Alex Len has now not played in 2 out of his last 3 games, if I'm not correct. Let me just pull up his game-to-game stats. So Alex Len is currently getting the short end of the stick. Now, granted, they could totally be kind of keeping him on the bench because they're really trying to show off Greg Monroe. You know, my gut is that they do not want to cut Greg Monroe. Len would have to accept that trade. And that's the problem. And I think Len would potentially accept a trade to, you know, to a championship team. I don't know if he would accept a trade to Philadelphia, you know, on the surface, because, you know, what's in it for him? He wouldn't be able to start either. So it's just like, okay, if I'm not going to start, I might as well try to win a ring, because why not? Is my presumption. At least that's how I would think. You know, but if I were Alex Len, I could be traded to the Bulls, if you will, and be just handed the starting job, then I would probably take that, because I can then show my worth. You have to make a move for the 6th of June. Well, James, and we're going to talk about that. So real quick, yeah, I believe he has Alex Len has 2 DNP CDs. I believe he had 1 last week, and they had 1 against Minnesota, in Minnesota. So he's not getting minutes right now. And again, and I think it's definitely because, I mean, my presumption is definite that that they're just trying to show off Monroe. They desperately want to trade Monroe. They have no interest in keeping him for the duration. I think at that point they would just cut him, because they would let Len play. Since we're obviously not trying to win, you know, that hard. They're obviously trying to win a little bit more this year than last. But regardless, so I just, you know, well, he had a good game yesterday, but overall, I kind of agree with that, Bailey. You know, so it's just, again, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I'm now rehashing all the topics, so let's move on. But in the end, Okafor, if you can get rid of another center, okay. Otherwise, it just doesn't make much sense at the moment. So please please retweet, please share, please text your friends. Hey, join us at BellySons.com. Join in the conversation. So, Fitzdale, the former head coach and former, as of today, of Memphis, was fired. And, you know, big deal. And by the way, his first name is David. He played garbage time against New Orleans. Might as well call it a day. Well, and that's true. And I left that open. Yeah, well, I mean, he played 20 minutes. He got 20 minutes, 12 boards, 5 points, 3 personal fouls. Yeah, no, Fitzdale isn't the answer, in my opinion. But I just want to say, so they have fired him. He's only been with the team for how long? 2 years? Let me see. David Fitzdale coaching. My thing, though, is that his claim to fame is strictly take that for data. Thank you, Crispy. I mean, that's literally it. So, yeah, he was there for 1 year and 19 games. So it was all of last year. So, I mean, come on. Yes, they made the playoffs, and he had that really funny take that for data thing. Sup, Mr. Mook? But, you know, he's not the answer. Yeah, maybe they want to keep Gasol happy, but I mean, Gasol isn't the future either. So I mean, it's like, if Fitzdale's the coach and they're not winning, they're 7-12, trade Gasol then. You know, just like, all right, we like Fitzdale. He's a good coach. He can stick with us for the long term. Gasol, Mark, you're not the future. Keep quiet. We'll work on trading you. They would get a couple firsts for Mark, especially from a team that, is in the playoff hunt. But yeah, I mean, it didn't make sense in firing him. But my thing though is that, Gasol the Cavs, that'd be interesting. Mike Chancellor, no, we were just talking about, we don't need 5 centers. uh, and again, the Suns aren't trying to win either. They want to have enough youth and veteran, kind of mix and combination. But, we don't need a true kind of star center at this point. But I'm sure he's a good coach. I'm sure he's fine. I don't know enough about him to say one way, to go one way or the other. I just think that, in terms of right now with Jay Triano, do the Suns, I doubt, they gave Jay the year. They told him you've got the year. So I doubt they even at this point go, wow, you know what, your defense sucks. It's currently statistically the Suns have the 3rd worst opponent scoring average in franchise history, 3rd only to the franchise's 1st and 2nd years back in 68, 69, 69, 70. This is worse than even Earl Watson, who was the worst head coach in franchise history. So, I mean, the Suns' defense is awful. So if David came in and was able to institute a particular, some sort of defensive system that, could improve the defense somehow, I mean, that'd be super. But, I mean, is he the answer? If he doesn't get hired this season, which I doubt he is, he's now not working until June. Coach is low on the priority right now, agreed. But if he is a head coaching free agent for the next 8 months or what have you until this summer, do the Suns dump Jay Triano and pick up David? No, I mean, I don't think so. I think, you probably interview him, and I do think, especially if the Suns' defense is awful, as much as we like Jay, and as much as he's definitely brought some balance to the force, if you will, in the Suns locker room. It was an odd reference, but just saying. Then, you definitely want to interview some coaches and be like, all right, here's our roster, here's what we're going forward. Can you teach them how to stop somebody? Then, yeah, I think you interview David Fizdale. But is he the future great? I don't think so. But at the same time, I do want to say I don't know. I really have no idea. I just don't see him as that kind of like, oh my God, the Suns need to get this this coach. I mean, he's only 43. Dude's only 9 years older than me. So, yeah, and I'm just a kid. So, God, I mean, I didn't realize he actually was an assistant coach of the Warriors at 29. He was an assistant coach. What am I doing with my life? At 34, at my age, he'd already been in the league as an assistant coach for 6 years. Yeah, this team is just not good on defense. I mean, that's something, but, well, okay. And I'll say this, though. This team has improved on defense, too. As strange as that sounds, Devin Booker isn't a turnstile. And we don't have Eric Bledsoe playing defensive point anymore. Mike James is nothing special, so that hurts a little bit. I mean, Mike James doesn't. I don't think I've ever seen him play defense. You're all good to Dawn. I don't think I've ever seen him play defense, but he just thinks he's Jason Kidd incarnate, just without all the assists. Ball move, yeah. So the offense is looking a hell of a lot better. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let me see if I can get the assists per game. It's just that their defense is it's horrendous. Well, okay. Again, I'm saying this from the perspective of and by the way, I'm pulling up some stats, so I'm looking away a little bit, but yeah, it's good. Benner is good. Jackson's great, but that's not it. Well, Devin Booker has improved too. The defense has improved. It's just statistically they're allowing more points than ever before. Oh, if that's Sexton, I mean, I hope you're right. All right, I hope you're right. Excuse me, I had a hair. I'm not keeping my hopes up. I'm just not keeping my hopes up. Plus, I'm a Doncic fan, honestly. So, please like, please retweet, please share. All right, so I was looking up in terms of assists. So in the last, let's see, which column is assists? All right. Oh, that's not it. Assists. Suns? Where are we looking here? Oh, okay. So in the last 6 games, the Suns have had 28, 28, 32, 15, 12, and 25. Those are assists over the last 6 games. So 28 against Houston, 28 against LA, 32 against Chicago, 15 against Milwaukee. I know a lot of people are talking Marcus Smart. 12 against the Pelicans. I mean, 12 is just ridiculous. And the 25 again against Minnesota. Jackson's defense has been great. There's already used to compile the solo lockdown defense. Has it been great, though? I don't know if it's been great. Ball in Alabama looks amazing when coach. Was Avery Johnson with Alabama? I didn't know that. I honestly didn't. Has Josh Jackson's defense really been great? I mean, I think, to me, that's an overstatement. You know, I mean, he's had his moments, but I mean, he looks bad on occasion. Offensively, he's had some issues moving the ball. Yeah, definitely. Look, that was a lot of fun last night. He's been inconsistent. No, I'm not saying, okay, before, you know, wow, all Polar Bear says is, no! I could just hear him yell, no, damn it. Dude is foul prone. I'll say this. I'm not harping on Jackson. I'm just fine on Jackson right now. I'm going to guess he's probably going to be a 15 to 17 point and above average defensive player. So he's going to score 15 to 70 points a game in his prime. Luka can play point guard, yes. Offensively, defensively, he's got to play shooting guard. So maybe Devin Booker would have to play more point, which he might be able to do, or maybe put Josh Jackson on the point guard if he really does become a lockdown. So you would mix stuff around. And think about Doncic is 6'7", Booker is 6'7", Josh Jackson is 6 around there. I mean, if you could have those guys at point, shooting guard, and three, you know, in the 3 small 4 and playing a lot of defense, he's going to be someone. Yes, that's true. That's a good point. The game is too fast. Then you know you can almost put anybody on anybody. Just you know, you just put Luka on the weakest offensive player. Please do, Crispy. I would love to see that. You put Luka on the weakest offensive player of those 3, the point, small, point, shooting guard, and small, and then you put Josh Jackson on the best, and you put Devin Booker in the middle, and I think you'll be okay on all sides. But so just in terms of the offense, you had those 2 kind of clunkers against Milwaukee, which is it's interesting. They only had 15 because they had to go to overtime to be able to get that loss, and then they had 12 in that 24-point loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. They did have 25 in the 11-point loss to Minnesota, but hey, what's up, Mr. Rich? Could the Suns get Spencer Dinwiddie? I feel like you're trying to pull my leg there. Who is that? Let me just see real quick. I don't know who that is. Oh, 24. Brooklyn Nets. Oh, he's with Brooklyn. Okay. Well, hey, I see Nets Daily posted 4 hours ago. Would Sean Marks trade him? He sucks. What is your Brandon Knight take? Brandon Knight is here for the year, and I think he deserves to attempt to be a starter next year. It's hot. Yeah, we're finally getting cold. We were in the 80s today, Fahrenheit. Yes, he is tall. Yo, hand on the Rangers next year. Brandon Knight, I think he could be the point guard. You know, I will always say in terms of Brandon Knight that, you know, in his defense, that he had Earl Watson as his head coach. You know, he had the turmoil because he did have Jeff Hornacek. And, you know, and then he got hurt a couple times, and now he's hurt again. So the question really is, can he be healthy? But then he had, for a year and a half, Earl Watson, and that was just, Watson didn't know what the hell he was doing. He did not know how to coach. Fizdale, no. Okafor, yes, so long as we don't have to trade for him. And then you got to get rid of another point guard, or another center, excuse me. Watson is the worst Suns head coach of all time. Yes, I would even say he's worse than Terry Porter. He was worse than Frank Johnson. He was worse than Brenda Kolf. Dude or chick or bot who's speaking Russian, none of us speak it here. Please like, please retweet, please heart, please share, text your friends real quick. Yo, join us. We still got another 40 minutes left of Valley Suns Live. We've got so much to talk about. We've already talked centers. We've talked Fizdale. You know, we've been kind of bouncing back and forth on that. We also, who would have thought tonight we're going to bring up Spencer Dinwiddie? But that always happens here at Valley Suns Live. We kind of just hit everything that we need to talk about at this, at any point. I want to know what you want the Suns to do. What are your rumors? Blanks was the worst GM in Suns history of all time. Yeah, they've only had a few. They've had Jerry Colangelo, Brian Colangelo, Mike D'Antoni, Steve Kerr. So I think they've had 7 now in history. Booker, Big Toe, they're just resting. John Wetzel he won 28 games. He at least got 28. And don't forget, that year was the year where they had the drug issue. And if I recall, I could double check, that year they also missed the playoffs by 3 games. Had they just won 31, and so that was 87-88. Had they just won 3 games, they would have been in the playoffs. I'm pulling it up right now. I'll bet you anything was 3. Yes, they finished 3 games out. So at 28-54, They finished 3 games behind the San Antonio Spurs, who made it at 31-51. Now, I believe, if I recall correctly, why I know this stuff, you guys, I don't know. I just know so much of this random stuff, and I've read it all before. I know that I've researched it, but I believe they were swept by San Antonio too. So had they actually beat San Antonio twice, they would have they would have been in the playoffs that year. And can you imagine that Suns team? That was also, remember, so that was the drug year. That was the year Alvin Adams retired. That was the year that the Suns traded Larry Nance for KJ West, Corbin, and so forth. Then it was that offseason where they signed Tom Chambers. Did they have another trade that offseason too? I'd have to double check. But let's see, I'm trying to see lineup basketball summer. Here we go. Just imagine that team. There's the following year, the Suns went 55. They have one of the greatest turnarounds in NBA history, and the year before they finished in 9th in the West and missed the playoffs by 3 games. So yes, John Wetzel was not the worst coach in history. He wasn't that bad at all. In fact, they still scored 108.5 and allowed only 113. The Suns are allowing 116 somewhere. I know. So San Antonio they beat once. Lost. San Antonio lost again, so it's 1-2. Lost again, they're 1-3. One. Okay, so they finished 2-3 against San Antonio that year. So had they won, yes, that was the drug year. I'm 100% positive that was the drug year. And had they won, they would have. If they swept that series, they would have been in the playoffs. But they finished 2-3. Or if they had finished 4-1 against San Antonio, they would have been in the playoffs. Let me see roster stats. I promise you that was the drug year. Yeah, Walter Davis. Yeah, that was the drug year. It was 87, 88. Well, yeah. Let me see. I don't want to waste somebody's time here. Phoenix Suns drug scandal. Maybe it was like the year before. Which time? Ooh, that's a good question, Dunn. Suns teams for. Well, I'll tell you what. Yes, it was 87, 88. Boom! I know my history, baby. Hey, I have a master's in history. Literally, that's not hyperbole. I truly do. So I don't mind. Come on. I'm not talking crap with you, Bob. You're the man. That was a great question too. It was a good kind of flashback. But favorite Suns team of all time, 92-93. I know it's kind of the cliche, easy thing to mention, but short, very very short story. I was 9 years old. I have an aunt that was working for the franchise at the time, and I managed. She got me and my dad tickets to probably 20 games that year. The very first game I ever attended, which I fell in with the Suns that night, was it was December 27th, 1992. Suns played the Nuggets. We won 129-88. I haven't missed a Suns game since. And so, now that's hyperbole. I've missed a couple, but not many, believe me. So that was the game. I was 9 years old. I had just turned 9 in November, and I got that ticket, and I was hooked. And I went to so many games. The only time in my life I've ever cried over a sporting event of any level was Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Like I said, I was 9 years old, almost 10 at that point. And when Horace Grant blocked KJ, I cried. I sincerely cried. And anyway, so I'm creating a roster spot for James. So the only news is that, so that's my favorite year. Why are you so interested about Suns? The news is that my gut is that it'll be Derek Jones Jr. They have to keep my James. They don't have another point guard unless they make a trade that brings in a point guard, which I would not be against. Not at all would I be against. They need a spot for him this year. They don't have another point guard. And as much as I've been an advocate for Devin Booker running the point, and I will until they get Chris Paul, or the next Chris Paul, if you will, the next Jason Kidd, the next Kevin Johnson, the next Steve Nash, whoever, the next Steph Curry. But until they get that point guard, at least this season, they need a second point guard with Tyler Ulis. I mean, Ulis, it can't be just Ulis and Booker, because think about last night. Booker has a toe injury. They rest him out of pure precaution. You don't have Mike James. You don't have another point guard. So DJJ, no, Derek at that point wouldn't be able to. He's on a non-guaranteed or something like that. My information might be a little up, but no, he would have to be cut. Okay, good point. I hope Booker is Kobe, but that's it. That's just what'll have to happen. It would be Derek Jones Jr. He'd be cut, and it would be disappointing when the kid's young. He plays solid defense. They say, to be honest, I didn't really see defense out of him last year. I was just more enamored with his great dunks. But yeah, that's what I would say. In terms of which center gets traded, I'm assuming that they want to trade Chandler and Monroe. I think those are the two that they would trade. Chandler because they can get rid of the contract, and Monroe because I think they might be able to get a good return. I think they will probably both have to be a part of a package, separate packages. There's not a chance in hell any NBA team is going to trade for both Tyson Chandler and Greg Monroe. I don't see why. Unless somehow Cleveland, they don't get to pull off a DeAndre Jordan trade, and Tristan Thompson goes down, and they've got nobody. All of a sudden, we're desperate, and they can somehow manage to pull it off. I just don't see a team trading for two. So I would see both of them potentially having to be moved in a package of some kind. And who knows? Maybe that's the package that's maybe that's the Kevin Johnson package. We don't have a Larry Nance, but maybe that's the future Mark West, Kevin Johnson, Ty Corbin kind of trade. What opinion percentage? I do want to talk about Marquese Chriss. Well, I still got a bunch of guys on, so I'll do that next. What 5%. I just don't think it's likely because we already have 5 centers. Unless you can move 2 centers and then you bring Okafor in, which gives us 3 with Len and Williams when he comes back. And you still have Marquese Chriss and Dragon Bender who can play center in spurts. And when the Suns are down by 20, why bother? Just let them play center. It doesn't matter. You don't have to trade for a guy. We need a center. We're down 20. So again, my gut is, as much as I've been an advocate of his for so many years, 2. I think it's probably a 5% chance the Suns get him. All right, I want to talk about Chriss. Chriss is blessed. How can someone so promising turn into a poo-poo? I can't say Chriss that anybody's ever said poo-poo on this video. But yeah, let's move on to Marquese Chriss. You guys all hopefully saw, go back and check me, I'll retweet it tonight, that I wrote last week. And please, hearts, like, retweet, share, text your friends real quick. Yo, we still have 30 minutes left of Valley Sounds Live. Come join us. We're talking Marquese Chriss. And I'm about to hammer on Marquese Chriss. Sorry, kid. I do like you on 2K. Not going to lie. But, so, you guys probably saw last week I said the Suns got to move Chriss. And I've compared him to Tyrese Thomas. I believe that he is Tyrese Thomas incarnate. A lot of excitement come out of college because of his athleticism and his height, but he's nothing special. He's not an offensive threat. He's not a defensive threat. He sulks so freaking much. It drives me crazy. If you were a child of mine, I'd spank him. I mean, not at 6'11", but, if you were doing that at 7, I would. If he was a student, he'd get a detention. So, just the fact that, now, granted, he is sort of getting attention because not only has he been relegated to the bench, but Dragon Bender's been the first guy to come off the bench. He's been the first power forward to come off the bench. Bender's a better scorer. Bender plays more aggressive defense. Marquese Chriss is rebounding more. Chriss did get 7 boards yesterday, but Bender scored 9 and hit 3 of 4 from beyond the arc and just plays solid defense. You can see his lateral movement is really, really helping him on the defensive end. And his shooting stroke is finally improved to a considerable level. And it should only continue to improve over the next few years of his career. But Chriss is not Amar'e Stoudemire. And when people still to this day, and I just heard it a couple days ago, well, Marquese Chriss is like Amar'e Stoudemire. No. And I'm sorry for using this term, I'm going to say, you're a damn fool. If you think that Marquese Chriss is Amar'e Stoudemire, you're a damn fool. What do you think about Aaron going to play 5? That would be fun. I just don't think he's anything special either. He's better than Chriss, so the Suns would be, Suns be improved. You're going to have to pay for him. I wouldn't be against getting him, but I want to see more. I still want to see a better point guard, or I want to see an entire system revival or renaissance or revolution or whatever. He's a cheap Blake Griffin, but, and again, I'm not against him. You're going to have to pay for him. But in terms of Marquese Chriss, again, it's just like, if he's not Amar'e Stoudemire. At this point in Stoudemire's career, remember, at least Chriss played 32 games or whatever at Washington. He got college experience and got college coaching. Amar'e Stoudemire didn't. And Amar'e Stoudemire's first head coach was freaking Frank Johnson, who was no good himself. So, and yet, by his second season as a 20-year-old, he was in the same position as Marquese Chriss, only with no college experience. He was averaging 20, if I recall correctly, 20.6 points and 9.0 boards as a second-year guy. Chriss can't do that if he tried. And my fear is that he is actually trying. Now, I wish the Suns would tell him never shoot a 3 again. I think I'd rather try to just get in their bang. But the problem is he picks up so many freaking fouls on both the offensive and defensive end, in particular the defensive end, that if he play aggressively offensive end, he's so out of control and unwieldy that he would probably pick up more offensive fouls and be pulled anyway. So if you put him on the perimeter, he's a lot less likely to pick up random offensive fouls. TJ shouldn't shoot threes, but he needs to take about 30,000 three-pointers over the summer. That needs to improve. He is too good of a natural scorer to not be able to hit an outside shot. Tyler Ulis, too. I don't know what is Tyler Ulis' problem. Why can't that kid score? Why can't he shoot? I mean, like, he had so much promise this last few weeks of last season. Now it's just like, pfft. But in terms of Chris, it is time to trade him. So I released a post this morning on the trade options, of which there are 3. I do recommend going back and and reading it, because I put this into some great deal. And thank you. Please like, please heart, please retweet, please share. You guys are the best. But I gave 3 specific reasons, or excuse me, 3 specific trade scenarios for Marquese Chriss. And again, I go into much greater detail in that post, so please go and at least read it. The first is, I think it would be fantastic if the Suns could get an unprotected first-round pick. Now, the Suns don't want the Cleveland Cavaliers' own first-round pick, so that's not lazy. Look for highlights, not fundamentals and defense. Oh, yeah, he's super lazy. I even tweeted about last night during the game the one particular play where, I mean, he did nothing. In fact, they were even talking about on the show, the broadcast, because if I recall, it was like a missed shot, and he ran down court, and they said he'd sprinted down court already, and then we got the offensive rebound, and they said it was nowhere to be found. So the team was playing 4 and 5. I didn't see that. Whoever said the Josh Jackson thing, if you can resend it, I'll read it again. I missed that. So I think if they could get an unprotected first-round pick, they don't want the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets pick. So they don't shoot for anything 20 or lower. 20 to 30 off limits. Then I don't think teams in the top 5 are going to trade that pick, which includes the Cleveland with the Brooklyn pick. So, Dallas, as much as I would love Dallas's pick, it could be draft night, yeah, but, it could be, I would love Dallas's pick. I would love Atlanta's pick. Obviously I'd love Brooklyn, just because I do think that pick will be traded. I think Cleveland will trade that pick at some point this season. I would love the Suns to somehow manage to snag it. But if they could get a first-round pick somewhere between 6 and 19, it's a good, sweet spot. That pick still holds value, even if it's 10 to 19. That pick still holds value, and I don't want the Suns to use it. I don't want them to draft anybody with that pick, because you're only going to get Miami's, and there's a chance right now that we get Milwaukee's. The Suns can already have 3 first-round picks in the top 20. So if you had a 4th, I mean, you're not drafting 4 guys. You're not drafting 3. I don't even want them to draft 2. I want to package 2 of those picks up to move up into the draft if they don't have a top 3 pick, and then I want to package the other picks and go find me a star somewhere, or a package of a KJ West, Corbin, that kind of thing. So if the Suns could find a taker, and if Ryan McDonough gets called right now, and my example is Charlotte, and for some reason Charlotte goes, hey, we're gonna have the 12th pick, so can we have Marquese Chriss? We think he holds better value than the 12th pick. I say yes. You get Marquese Chriss the hell out of here. You're never going to get better direct one-on-one value than that. And I say you take it. You give Dragon Bender the starting role, or if you want to keep playing Monroe until you move him, and then you use that pick to move up and get yourself Bagley. If that's what you want to do. And then you get a guy who's more physically built and potentially emotionally capable of being that star Amari Stoudemire top power forward, because Marquese Chriss is not that guy. And so I just don't want, I'm afraid, like Tyrese Thomas, that the Suns are going to hold to him. Now, Tyrese, they ended up trading him in a package. They actually got Nikola or Jokic. They got Jokic for him, if I recall. Or they ended up getting somebody, and then that was a draft day trade. So they didn't keep that guy. So they actually, in hindsight, got good value. But overall, when they were comparing him to LaMarcus Aldridge, they compared Tyrese Thomas to LaMarcus Aldridge. People are comparing Marquese Chriss to Amari Stoudemire. I mean, those comparisons are just completely out of control. Bender is going to be nice in about 2 years. Get Marquese Chriss off the roster and let Bender keep playing. Don't put anybody else in front of him unless you get, Bagley, and you've got a, legitimate power forward there. Can you see T.J. Warren and Josh Jackson both being on the Suns in the coming years? One of them will have to be moved, and I think if Jackson does show in the next year that, if by next season Jackson shows like, hey, this kid's just bursting at the seams with talent, he's going to be a star, then it's T.J. Warren that gets moved. I don't want that to happen. I'd rather move T.J. Warren to the bench. I've compared him to Cedric Sabalas. Cedric Sabalas was the best sixth man, those Barkley Suns teams had, and that includes Marley. And then remember, when he gets traded to the Lakers, he scored 20 plus in 2 consecutive years before things started to fall apart. Warren could, that's a solid point. Warren could be a draft night trade too. That's absolutely. So, it's just, are you talking about for Bender? I actually haven't heard. I'm assuming he got poked in the eye or bumped in the nose or something, but I actually have not heard about his face mask. I have to do some research. The JJ could be starting. Well, he might not get mad. He's getting paid. Did he break his nose? See, I didn't see that. He might not get mad. He's getting paid. If the Suns are winning, he could win a Sixth Man of the Year award. I mean, he could be Eddie Johnson. Why not? And if he's okay with it, I mean, he might. Really, he broke it against the Bulls? I totally missed that. So just going back to Chris real quick. So the other 2 options, that's smart of him. You don't want to keep busting. Or, potentially hurting it. Please heart, please like, please retweet, please share. Do people really think Josh has star potential? I'm not sure. Yeah, a lot of people do. I haven't seen it yet, but, he looked damn good at Kansas. But the second point, potential trade opportunity for Chris, I said it was a potential 1-for-1, and really the only guy I can think of, and I'm sure there are others, but if you were to really trade 1-for-1, and I did have a package that included Troy Daniels and a second-round pick, flipping, but it just needed to be balanced out. But I mean, I could see them going after a guy like Bogdan Bogdanovic, and it's like, okay, now we've got a backup shooting guard long term, because Troy Daniels is presumably not the long term guy. Although I would love him to be. I called him Quentin Richardson when the Suns got him. I think he'd be a really cool backup too for Book, but feel like he doesn't put Jackson in a position to succeed. I don't know. I mean, Jackson's just hasn't cut off screens. Well, I mean, he's a slasher, though. Josh Jackson's a slasher, and he's shooting threes. Let me look at his stats real quick. He's not shooting that great, but he's attempting them. I'm sure he's attempting 2 a game. 2.7. He's shooting 25%. But, that doesn't worry me. Ooh, Kemba Walker. He's too much of a score first. I want a guy that can. You know what? I would rather Steve Nash than Kevin Johnson. Well, no, I take that back. Because KJ in his prime was 20 plus, 10 plus. Even after at one point, I think 12 plus. So no, I think Kemba's too much of a score first. I think he's too much of an Eric Bledsoe. He's damn good though. Don't get me wrong, but Ricky Rubio would be a nice filler. He's more of a Steve Nash type player. He's not going to score first. All good teams have a score first point guard. If the Suns, what moves did you make this first offseason? Okay, hold on. We have 2 great points. Okay, so Curry, that's 1. But Russell's never won a title. John Wall's never won a title. Josh Jackson doesn't. I don't think Josh Jackson looks like a bust yet. Rubio for Len. That might not be the worst. Don't get me wrong. I like those guys. I don't dislike them. But here's my the point that I've made for the longest time is that point guards don't win championships. So that's the difference. Point guards don't win championships. The exception to that rule is Steph Curry, but that team was so stacked even before Kevin Durant that, it's still not a complete truth. But I mean, just think about the great teams. But Kyrie didn't win that title. That was LeBron. Kyrie, everybody says, well, he made a 3. Great. He made 1 3, and that was his claim to fame. LeBron won that title. Wings win titles. Great wings. Or think about what Dallas when Miami won their title, they had a wing and a center. Or a shooting guard and a center with Wade. When Dallas won, it was Dirk Nowitzki. Just go down the list. I can actually kind of should have jumped out. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. They should have definitely done that. But scoring guards win your games. I feel like, okay, well, Nash wasn't a scoring guard. We won a ton of games. We know that they wouldn't have won if LeBron was doing LeBron-type things. Yeah, that's my point. LeBron might be a bully, okay, but... So hold on, list of NBA champions. And again, I've talked about this a bunch in the past. Please like, please retweet, please heart, please share, please text your friends. We got 15 minutes left. I might even go to overtime. Okay, so just like... Oh, that's not a list. Hold on, do I have a list of... list of NBA... Year by year. Okay, here we go. Year by year. All right, so Cleveland... Okay, so Golden State, maybe you can say Steph Curry won that title, but last year they were certainly... I mean, come on. Kevin Durant won the MVP. Okay, well, think about this. Oh. So this is anecdotal, but I'll put it this way. All right, so Golden State wins it last year. Kevin Durant wins the MVP. Cleveland wins it 2 years ago. LeBron won that title. The year before that, keep Monroe, trade Leonard Chandler. Maybe. You're gonna pay a lot for him. He wanted to be here a few years back. Yeah, he did. Well, but he was also injury prone. But okay, so Golden State 2 years ago, who wins the MVP? Andre Iguodala. That was, first off, anecdotal. Secondly, it's arguable that he didn't deserve it. That Steph Curry deserved it. Anecdotal. San Antonio, not a big-time point guard. Miami, not a big-time point guard. Dallas, not a big-time point guard. Lakers, wing. Boston, you had Rajon Rondo, but that was not Rajon Rondo that won that title. San Antonio, again, no point guard. Miami, again, you had Dwayne Wade and Shaq. San Antonio. Detroit, I mean, it's all about the center and the wing. You look at these teams. Golden State, great wing. Cleveland, great wing. Golden State, great wing. Spurs, great center. Heat, great wing. And, well, at that time it was wing, center, or wing, power forward, and two, because you had LeBron. Same with Miami there. Dallas, you had a great power forward. Lakers, you had Kobe, you had the wing, and then you had Powell. So, I mean, it's just like Gary Payton never won a title. Well, Gary Payton won a title with Miami, but he didn't win that title is my point. Who won that title? That was the Dwayne Wade and Shaq title. Point guards don't win titles. So it's big man or wing. I know you said big market team, but Dallas, Miami, San Antonio, Cleveland, those are, of our last 3, 6, 7 champions. Dallas, not big market. Miami, not big market. San Antonio, not big market. Cleveland, not big market. I suppose Golden State is big market because of San Francisco. But, they're still not LA. They're still not New York. They're still not Chicago. They're still not Boston. So, I mean, not necessarily big market. It's just got to be the right teams. If you take away the Warriors and Cavs, many of today's scoring point guards would win titles. Okay, that's a fair argument. But if you take away Michael Jordan, then the Suns win. So it's just like we can adjust history in many different ways. The point of it is, though, is that that's not how it is. So it's just what we have to deal with. There are markets that are untapped or profitable. Well, and the Suns have the 6th largest market in the nation, or the 6th largest population in terms of television market list. Where I believe 8 list of American television markets. I want to say that we're 8th. List North America. Okay, I've got it right here. Arizona. Oh, 12th. So Phoenix is 12th. So it's not like we're tiny. Bunch of transplants scoring park won titles because of the Cavs and Warriors. Could we trade Chris for Portis? That'd be interesting. No, if someone defended Paxson, we went. Well, we won Game 6. Not true fans. Mid-market. I was closer to Paxson. I was in the 5th. You were in the 5th row, dude. You lucky son of a gun. That was the only game I ever cried in. I said it earlier. The only time in my life I've ever cried over a sporting event. The Warriors shook up the link. They did, and God bless them. I mean, Steve Kerr's done a hell of a job, and Steph Curry is a hell of a point guard. Okay, well, we're talking about point guards. Let's talk about, this was next on my list. Let's talk about the Suns' point guard problem. We've already talked about Mike James a little bit. Suns need a point guard. Actually, we kind of really have talked about this. We can kind of expand it a little bit. Suns need a point guard. Mike James is going to be here unless before. Ooh, Conley would be interesting. I mean, LeBron should just go to the Warriors and sit on the bench. Okay, I'll tell you this, guys. Now, I actually want your opinion on this. For the sake of argument, let's say the Suns can get Conley or Schroeder, or who's only 6'1", Let's say had the chance. Oh yeah, you take that chance. Yeah, I totally keep LeBron. Uh, okay, but real quick to this point though, the Suns had the chance to trade for James Harden. They didn't. Yeah, well that's true. It's because we had the worst GM in our franchise at that time. The guy was an idiot. How do you not make that trade? Oklahoma City or Houston gave up nothing. Okay, well, wait a second. Before we talk about money, okay, I don't want everybody like yell at each other. Sorry, doesn't want to spend the money. I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but my point though. Do you want the Suns to make a trade for a legit point guard, be it Kyrie, be it Conley, you name him, John Wall, which is impossible. But do you want the Suns to make a point guard during this, or make a trade for the point guard during the season? We currently have the 5th worst record. If you get a good point guard, this team gets better. Do you wait until the offseason? Hopefully I see a lot of trades. No. I see a lot of no trades. We should trade for Mario Chalmers as a backup. Keep losing Trav Bagley in the offseason. Only 3 games into the playoffs. Only 3 games into the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. That'll stretch out. You keep losing. Okay, so I see a couple of people saying yes, trade now, but I see most people saying no, trade now. I wouldn't trade for a point guard right now unless somebody fell in their lap that was just so unbelievably cheap that you can't say no because somebody else will get it. I still can't. Well, I know it's starting to look really bad for them. We're not going anywhere in the West for at least 2 months. That I don't necessarily agree with. I think there's a chance this team could be the 88-89 Suns next year, or the 04-05 Suns next year. Let's say if we go for point guard next one, we get another star, unless the star point guard pulls a Bledsoe, sign Isaiah Thomas. I see Isaiah Thomas. If it weren't for the fact that his breakup with Phoenix was so bad, I would be okay with that. I know. How what, Buller? How what? It's just right now. You have the 5th pick. If you can trade Monroe, Tyson Chandler, anybody, he did. And you know what? God bless him for saying that. How often do you hear a GM admit to making a mistake? Conley might be perfect, but you might improve a little bit too much. And you know what? I'm not for tanking. Now, here's the difference. I'm not for tanking at this point. I'm not for trading anybody and getting nothing in return. And I'm not for benching anybody like Devin Booker. Yes, I could see this team being the 04-05 as compared to the 03-04. I could see the Suns very easily making a jump next year. I don't know if they're winning 62, but 55, which would be 88 or 87-88. Or 88-89. We're trying, but not hard enough. Wait for the ball to develop. His dad will shoot the Laker relationship down the toilet by then. Suns need to change fire. Yeah, so long as we compete, I'm still watching. So the Suns are still competing. Well, no, at first, at 04-05, they won 62. And then they won 55 and 87-88. My point, though, is that right now, if you make a move for a Conley, or if you make a move for, a good point guard, they pull themselves back. Now, again, if you can trade, and so here's my point. Again, I'm not for taking. I want them to compete. I want to try, and if they lose trying hard, I think the team will be okay. I think morale will be okay, and I think the Suns fans will get what's going on. If they all of a sudden start benching everybody, as long as they stop it. There is a post coming. I haven't really had a chance to do enough research, but I've got some comparisons. Just wait. I'm gonna blow your mind. But if they can get one more first-round pick for the summer, I want them to take their pick and another pick, trade up, unless they get a top 3 pick. Then maybe save those, and then use the other 2 picks. I want them to have 4 first-round picks this year, and then use the other 2 picks to trade for a star. Then at that point, you can then sign a free agent, sign a couple, maybe make a second move here or there, and now you've got the ball rolling. You get a top-notch draft pick because you're drafting top 3. And then you manage to get a star. Maybe you can find a way to get a package. Think about how, again, it was Larry Nance. But imagine trading 2 first-round picks and getting a backup point guard, a 4th round, a 4th string, been cut 3 times center, and Mark West. Well, okay, I don't know, but it takes time. They got to do the research, and I trust that McDonough will be able to kind of pull this stuff off and figure this stuff out. But we shot for 1/5 plus next year unless we make a big trade. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you get Davis, but that would be it. If you put Davis, Booker, and you got a legit, say, Conley point guard, You're not beating Golden State, but you're getting really damn close. And at that point, you're young enough. I mean, how old is Conley? And at that point, you're priming yourself. He's 30. Oh, maybe Mike Conley's not necessarily the right guy to go after at this point, just based on his age. I think you still want someone that's like 25 to 27. Could have Cousins pass, could have Curry pass. Could still have Cousins. Could still sign him. Now, and that's the thing. Whoever draft top 5 are not going to want to trade back. Well, okay. I mean, dude can't make the big move. Okay, no, yes, I'll give you that. Ryan killed 3 good point guards. Pelicans will never trade Boogie. Maybe, well, they're not going to trade Boogie because he's unrestricted free agents. Cousins isn't coming here. Conley makes $30 million a year, and he's also 30. He just turned 30 2 months ago on October 11th. You have a fever. Cousins is way too lazy. I don't want Cousins. It's a problem. Cousins pass. Well, okay. My point, though, is that, all right, if the Suns, okay, now whoever said they won't trade up, if the Suns have Miami's pick, and it's, let's say it's 10th or 11th, and I'd have to double check where they're at right now, plus their own at, say, 5th. Let's say the Suns get the fifth pick, and they're able to trade the 5th pick plus the 11th pick, you might be able to get somebody to move up. Also, if you keep Marquise Chris, maybe you can trade him at that moment. Maybe you can trade the 5th pick with the 11th pick with Marquise Chris and move up to 3 or, 2 or 3. I don't know about 1, but maybe. I mean, you never know. Because a team like, take Dallas, for instance, they need a lot. And, and so they're going to have to replace Dirk Nowitzki. He is on his last leg. Although I love watching him still play. I know he's worthless. No, I know. Don't get me wrong. I wrote about this twice now this past week. Please go back and read it. Read them both. No, I know. Well, he has some because he is still young. And you can make an argument that at 20 he can be, Dallas is Dirk. He's doing Dirk too. I don't know. He knows what's going on. And there might be a team that's just like, hey, we'll take a flyer on Marquise Chris. He's only 20 years old, making nothing for the next 2 years, and is athletic as hell, and just see. But I mean, if you can make a package, Dallas needs a lot. So it's like, okay, and here's the other thing. Let's say that wherever Dallas is picking, they've got Marquise Bennett. Oh my gosh, that's a great pun, dude. That's fantastic. Soon to ask for a trade. I actually just saw that on Twitter, so I saw that pop up. Yeah, but again, Conley is 30 and making $31 million. I don't think the Suns want him. I don't know who would want him on that contract. Remember, I don't know if he still is, but he was the most expensive player in NBA history. The most, the pay the highest. He had the largest contract, at least year to year, for at least a little bit. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that Dallas, wherever they're picking, the next best player is Luka Doncic, and they've got Dennis Smith. They already do, and if they're happy with Dennis Smith, maybe they do a trade back. Maybe the Suns go, okay, we can get Doncic. We'll put him next to Booker. We can then go make another trade. He was a steal, man. We can go make another trade and get another star somewhere with those other 2 first-round picks. Again, I'm presuming the Suns can find a way to get a 4th first-round pick. You use yours plus somebody else's to move up, and then use those other 2 in a package to trade for a star. My point is, what if Bagley is not available? Would take Smith over Jackson? I wouldn't say that yet. I'm reserving judgment for the moment. I wouldn't say that just yet. Okay, so now you guys all know me. Maybe you don't, Suns Fest 79, although you're on here every week, so I think you should know this. And I said this earlier too, that I am not for drafting a point guard high. I'm almost never for it. I'm willing to break my rule for this kid because this kid can pass like a king. He can shoot from anywhere. Dennis Smith Jr. is the next Lillard. Okay, well, and I'm about to sound like a hypocrite here. I'm willing to draft Doncic, but remember, Lillard hasn't won. Point guards don't win. You still need wings, which is why I would still prefer Josh Jackson over Dennis Smith Jr. right now. I'm willing to give him the opportunity to continue to improve. His shooting's looking okay. His defense looks fine. They've even got him bringing up the ball now, which is just blowing my mind. Can Luka play defense? No. I mean, supposedly not. Who the hell knows? He's still really young. But like Devin Booker, I don't know why he can't be taught. So Luka is like a quote-unquote shooting guard. He can play point guard offensively, but not defensively. So he'd have to play like a bigger, slower wing. Defend a bigger, slower wing. So, so long as it's not, Kevin Durant, kind of like the best guy. don't win because there are two superpower teams that look. Okay, well, I was just going to this a minute ago, man. I'm forgive me. I'm not trying to be rude at all, and I'm willing to have this conversation. I have it a lot. But find me a team that won because of a point guard in history. I don't know about that. Find me a point. Think about this. Russell Westbrook. I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. A, he made the finals with Kevin Durant. Couldn't make the playoffs without him. B, he's now got two great wings, and they're below 500. I still think that team is going to improve. By the time the season ends, they'll be a 50 and 32 win team probably. But they're not a championship contending team. You know, they still need a big. It's wings that win championships. Okay. Now, okay, there are always exceptions to the rule, and I have to point something out. Magic Johnson was 6'9". He was 6'9". He's not, you know, he was a wing that could play point guard. He's much like Kevin Durant in that sense. So if the Suns can find Magic Johnson, now I'm not comparing Luka to Magic in skill, but at least in size, Luka's at least, I want to say 6'7". So he's at least a little bit bigger. A 6'1" point guard. Again, Steph Curry, the exception really in terms of traditional point guards is Steph Curry. Steph Curry makes my rule seem flawed, but that team was incredibly stacked, and he's a non-traditional point guard. He doesn't even lead the team in assists. A center leads, or a power forward leads the team in assists. So even though, Steph Curry kind of makes my rule seem flawed, he's not a true point guard. And that's what I'm talking about, true point guards. Magic Johnson's not a true point guard. He was 6'9". Isaiah Thomas was a true point guard. Isaiah Thomas is probably the last, true point guard to win a title. Jerry West, we're talking 60 years ago. So, I mean, I'm not going to, kind of poo-poo on that, if you will. But it's still just a different league. You can mention the Celtics, and we had some great point guards too, but then you can look at Bill Russell. Kyrie has a 40 rock 2 years ago. He had one good game in the finals. I like the idea of top point guards are the way to go. That's the way you got to do it. And I want to just see Don kick. Luka is 6'7", and he's 18. He could be 6'9" in 3 years. He could still add some height. And this kid is big too. If you look at him, he's got a body growing on him. He's not a big guy yet, but he's definitely got some kind of size to him that looks like he's going to be an imposing figure of point on offense. So that's my whole point, is about the point guards, that traditional point guards don't win it. Non-traditional point guards do. I just did. I could say Isaiah Thomas with Detroit. Ben Simmons, 6'9", non-traditional. And although he hasn't won a title yet, I'm talking about strictly titles. But I mean, look at the Jordan Bulls. You had John Paxson, you had B.J. Armstrong. You had Ron Harper, but none of them were true point. Well, B.J. Armstrong was a true point guard, but he was not the focal point of the offense by any means. It was a wing in Michael Jordan and a wing on Scottie Pippen that won those titles. And then Ron Harper, he was far from a traditional point guard. And again, the guy, Tony Parker didn't win those titles. That was Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Kawhi Leonard. Josh is 6'11". He grew over the summer this year. And again, teams, okay, no, I think my point has been a little misunderstood. Teams need point guards. The Suns we will not be good until we get a point guard. But why I don't like drafting point guard high, a traditional point guard. Dennis Schroeder scares me. He's 6'1". That scares me. He's too small. The last small true point guard to win a title was Isaiah. So we're going back 30 years. Almost. It'll be 30 years this year, actually. I didn't want to do. No, 30 years next year. So, that's just the only thing. I just don't like drafting point guards, true point guards that high. But again, I make an exception to that rule for Luka Doncic because of his passing and scoring and because of his height. And the refs, for sure. Well, the Suns will never have the refs on their side. Anyway, we got about a minute left. We're going about 5 minutes overtime. We're going to single overtime. Why don't you guys, if you want to hit double overtime, why don't you guys just throw some rapid fire at me? I'd be happy to answer anything or make a comment about anything. Tony Parker, again, I mean, it was Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Kawhi Leonard that won those titles. Well, has Kawhi Leonard won a title? He has. So, I mean, but again, to my point, you need a point guard. They have to be a good point guard. But I don't like drafting those guys high because they're not the ones that won titles. Tony Parker was drafted where? Where was he drafted? He was drafted 28th overall. I will take a good point guard drafted 28th overall. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I do this for you guys. You guys are the best. I love you all. I look forward to this so much. So, all right, we just hit single overtime. Nobody has any rapid fire. I can wrap this up right here. What is a point guard? It's the guy that it's the guy that used to be in charge of bringing the ball up. Now, he's just kind of the shortest guy. Y-Line DNP, honestly, I think it's because they're sincerely trying to show off Greg Monroe as much as possible. They want to get something for Greg Monroe and show, hey, the guy's healthy, he can score, he can play defense. You are quite welcome, man. Suns fan therapy. I love that. What's he to Trevor McConnell? Second-round pick. I don't want to trade a lot. I want to keep our first-round picks for, if they want to take Mike James and Dennis Jones Jr., I'd be okay with that. I don't know why they would, but if they did, I'd be okay with that. But I wouldn't trade much. D-Rose, if you would not tear ACL, I think he'd be a good filler. Finish the year with what we have and reassess in the offseason. Well, all right, man. See you next week. I'll just say this, that not necessarily try and collect more assets and keep losing. Yes, that's it. But keep losing while remaining competitive. And that's the key. Yeah, man. Well, I was signing off, but I asked for some rapid fire. So maybe I'll finish up double overtime in about 3.5 minutes. I hope you're doing well, Mr. Rich. But yeah, I want the team to remain competitive because I don't want Devin Booker to sincerely, what star do you believe is available next? Oh, God, I was trying to think about that last night. I don't know. Drafting Bagley and Sharif. Then Sharif O'Neal next year. I don't think you're going to get too high picks. I think you're going to improve too much. That's good, man. That's good. That's good. Very good. They're going to improve too much next year. You're not getting another top 5 pick next year. I'll bet you $1 million. Bet you $1 million this team will be improved. And it's not going to take a lot to do it either. And I promise you that post is coming. I'm done with Mike James. Why Ryan? I want to extend. Because you need a point guard. You need a backup point guard. You can't just run with Tyler Ulis. Nash or Kidd? I still go with Nash. 100% go with Nash. Better sense of winning. Absolutely. And I think at that point, even if they're not winning per se, but so long as they're not tanking this year, so long as they're not tanking, then I think you can make the team happy, you can make the fan base happy, and then you can really start making your moves this coming offseason. That's when they've got to be made, in my opinion. They've got to be made. They've got to be made this offseason. I think you got to package a couple, move up. If you don't land a top 3 pick, then you got to package your other draft picks and just start trading for stars. Hell yeah, Mike James is trash. He just annoys the hell out of me. I've tweeted about it a lot every game. It's so tough to find the next star you can pry away. Kemba Walker, we mentioned Kemba Walker. I wanted to actually check Kemba Walker. Oops. What the? My problem with him, oh, for the love of all that's good money. Kemba, why won't it? K-E-M-B-A. It doesn't want to spell Kemba. There we go. My problem with him is I just think he's a little bit too much. He's 27, so I like that age. I think it's just a little bit too much like Eric Bledsoe. I don't think you can continue to keep the ball away from Devin Booker. I mean, he's 22.3 points, 6.2 assists, and he's 27. That is Eric Bledsoe. It's literally Eric Bledsoe. And he's not, well, he's only averaging 6.2 assists, so I mean, I don't know if the team is that bad. I mean, here's the thing. The Suns could find a way to improve him. I could see him potentially being a Kevin Johnson type. Where I could see it, if he could become a Kevin Johnson type, and by that I mean, so let's see. His career high in assists is this year at 6.2. He's averaged 5.4 for his career. He's averaged 20 points for the last 3 years, 22.3 this year, 23.2 last year. Only been an all-star once. But Kevin Johnson, if they could somehow convert him, and, not convert him per se, but at least put the team around him to be able to allow him to be... What in the world is wrong with my keyboard? Can't pull anything up at the moment. Johnson, there we go. All right. So, KJ, this is the kind of guy that the Suns need. Is right here. Kevin Johnson, 88-89, 20.4 points, 12.2 assists. Next year, 22.5 points, 11.4 assists. Following year, 22 points, 10.1 assists. 19.7 points, 10.7 assists. The 93-94, he was hurt a lot in 92-93, but 93-94, 20 points, 9.5 assists. If the Suns could get that, now he doesn't exist, mind you, but if they could get that, get a system, get the players around him to be able to pull something off, to have a guy average 20-plus points and 10-plus assists, now we're talking. But a guy that averages 20-plus and 6, I don't like it. That's Eric Bledsoe. He's obviously not moving the ball enough. I don't want a score-first point guard. I want a point guard who can score. I want a Steve Nash-esque, where he doesn't necessarily need to score, but he can score. That dude doesn't exist, but you might be able to. What's up, Dan? We're out of here in seconds. I'm really sorry. I just got kind of hooked in this conversation. I wanted to at least kind of elaborate a little bit. That dude doesn't exist. Now, is it possible to create an offensive system with the players around him where you can make that happen? Yes. It's the same way as, same from the same, he is a ball hog, 100%. It's from the same perspective of, can Devin Booker run point? All right, man, for sure. Tweet at me. But it's the same point as, can the Suns come up with a system that can mimic Golden State, where Devin Booker can run point? Yeah, they just have to do it. They also got to put the players around them, too. They got to be able to get some additional talent on this team. And that has to start this offseason. That's got to be in the draft. They got to nail whoever the draft pick is. Then they got to get themselves another star. They got to find a trade for a star. It's got to happen. But if it does, and then maybe bring in a guy like Kemba Walker, and you say, score your 20, but you better damn well get 10 assists. Now, that's something. Although, again, I am also of the Brandon Knight could be that guy potentially. And that's the other thing. That's the hookup. That could also be another reason why you don't make a trade for Conley or Kemba Walker or anybody else, is because you got Brandon Knight, and you might as well give him a shot. You might as well see if he can be that guy, because we know he can average 20 points. You can't. I'm talking offensive system entirely. Entirely talking offensive system. And that's why I do think that you can find a way to make the system kind of develop. Brandon Knight at 23 years old averaged 5.2 assists, 17 points. He averaged his first full year with the Suns 19.6 points, 5.1 assists. He had nobody else around him, and he had Eric Bledsoe. So, if you could find a way, I don't know. He is still a score-first guy, but that's the point. I'd rather not trade for a score-first guy, because you got a score-first guy on the roster. I would try to find a way to get a guy or come up with a system that, well, they're going to hire me for a lot of ideas. I don't know if I can pull it off any better, but I'm certainly going to give them ideas. They can also just watch, although, no, seriously, hire me. I need the job. I need the money. But plus, who watching this wouldn't kill to work for the Suns? I wouldn't kill, but you know what I mean. Facetious. But again, you've already got a score first point guard. So if you can, rather than trade for another one, if you can find a way to develop a guy that can score 20 and dish out 10, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. I really like giving Brandon the opportunity. We talked about this. We should see what he is. For sure. All right, we've got a double overtime. We're halfway into triple overtime, so let you guys go. You might kill, I know. Well, you can't trade him now. You absolutely cannot trade him now. My point is, I don't want to trade for another one like him, because the next year he's healthy, and not only do you have another point guard problem, but now you've got two score first point guards. So at this point, keep him. I can't. I got a 3-year-old that is dying to watch a Christmas movie. He was literally begging for it. See what you can do, and you are not paying him, much in retrospect. You are not. You're absolutely not. So I'm all for drafting Doncic, because Doncic is a completely different type of player. Plus, he's not undersized. That's my other problem with Brandon Knight, is he's 6'3". Oh, so he's actually an okay size, to be honest. 6'3" is not that bad. Thanks, FKs. 6'3" is actually okay. Although, if you look at pictures, he doesn't look 6'3". That or some other guys look small. All right, yes, we are 2 minutes away from triple overtime. So let you go. I got a 3-year-old who was begging to watch a Christmas movie with me. He'll play, yes, he can play offensive point guard, defensive shooting guard. Or even small forward if need be. So, but again, he's also a 6'9" guy or 6'7" guy that can distribute, and who can, look at, the dude can pass. Yes, I will, man, for sure. Kevin Dunn, no, we'll square you away. I don't know if I can be helped. I might just be lost in my Alex Len fantasies, but all right. So I'm trying to get off. I'm sorry. I love talking to you guys. This is great. You guys are the best. We've just hit triple overtime. We're well in about 28 seconds. Thank you guys very much. I love you all. I'll do this for you guys unless we have breaking news at some point over the next week. I will see you guys on Monday. Go Suns. Keep bringing the blocks. Send me your ideas. If you got ideas, I'm willing to write about it, man. I have an opinion. I will always have an opinion. I just hope that it's articulate. We'll love to talk to you in person. Dude, you know what? One of these days, maybe around Christmas, I can set up a Valley of the Suns fan night. Honestly, in fact, I've got a... Ooh. I'll tell you what. I'm going to see if I can set that up, because I've got a place in Glendale. I'm a Glendalian. Got a place in Glendale that's perfect. It's where we did the draft extravaganza video live stream. So maybe I can pull something off like that around Christmas. I'm gonna think on that one. All right, y'all. I will see you guys later. I'll get you that McD stat soon. Please do. Please do. Have a good night. Let's go, Suns. Love you all.